Big high-pressure cell that's in there. The city is on fire. People are going north and staying at these camps and going into Edmonton. It's a pretty serious story, and it's not going to get any better. So we'll keep our thoughts with them as we get into the top 6 at 6. Are you ready, David?
Oh, baby. Born ready. Born ready.
That's
Here we
what
go.
we love to hear, baby. Big boy. Anytime you're ready to fire it up.
These are the 6 biggest stories you've got to know to start your day. This is the TSN 1040 Top 6 at 6.
On the Bro Jake Show with David Pratt.
Come on now. Now, number 6.
With the 13th pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select Laramie Tunsil, tackle, Ole Miss.
You know, that was shocking because he was going to go like 4 or 5 early in the draft. He went at 13 because just before and during that whole thing, there was a photo and a film and a video released of him with a gas mask on, inhaling some marijuana, and it got to everybody, and that made him go late at 13 with Miami. Laramie Tunsil now is fighting back with this guy. He had hired some guy to look after his money.
His former agent.
Yes.
No, the story is amazing.
Crazy.
Here. Now that they are targeting his former agent as the person who's responsible. I don't know what the hell that is. That's okay.
That's Laramie Tunsil. He's trying to get in, yeah.
Anyways, he's looking now at his former agent as the person responsible for accessing his Twitter and Instagram accounts. This whole thing now looks as if it's got a face to it all, and here's where it's going from here. Not only did he fire the agent after he found out that he'd been lied to and that the agent was not licensed, so this was a whole scam, he fired him, but apparently this guy did not forgive or forget, and this was the payback to it all. But get a load of this. This is the real kicker to this story, is that now Tunsil and his people are about to go and take all their information and hand it over to the FBI, and it looks as if there are going to be criminal charges involved in this because this scumbag, who is a liar and a cheat and a lot of other rotten things that you can imagine. I mean, this guy is a total rat, could wind up going to jail. So, I mean, the biggest story that came out of the NFL draft, we just sit back and we just had our heads shaking. We now know where it came from, and now we know exactly where it's going. But it's a nasty, nasty, ugly piece of business.
Yeah, so he considered himself a financial advisor. He was not registered. So, but they call these guys runners. So runners are guys that basically hook up with these junior players and basically give them things to try to entice them to sign. That's what that guy did.
Yeah, he lied, though.
He lied. Of course he lied.
He completely misrepresented himself, lied to him, said that he was a registered agent, wasn't, not licensed. And then when Tunsil found out about it, you know, and this is like 2 years ago, he went, yeah, to hell with it, and got rid of it, which was the absolute right thing to do. But this guy laid in the weeds for 2 years to screw him over, and now it looks as if the big payback is that, hey, the FBI is going to get involved, and this guy, this scumbag, could wind up going to jail. So there could be a very happy ending to it all, even though Tunsil is still out about, what, $7 million?
10 mil. I just read it was $10 million in signing bonuses. You know, I don't know if he'll ever get that money back from that cheap scumbag runner, which he probably won. Anyway, there you go. Good luck, Laramie Tunsil. Go get him.
Number 5.
Klay Thompson crossing midcourt. He'll run it out. This one's over. Game 2 goes to the Warriors. And they will take a 2-games-to-none lead to Portland and get ready for Game 3 on Saturday afternoon.
You know, Dave, when I was watching that game, I thought, you know what, finally, Golden State Warriors, they're going to get, you know, Portland Trail Blazers are going to give it to them. And the early going, we kind of know and reminded everybody that the Trail Blazers have got some talent, man. They were holding on to the Warriors, and they were at bay for much of the second half, but it was the Warriors, and boy, does that team know how to finish. In the final 5 minutes and 40 seconds, Portland managed one field goal. It's closing time, baby.
Well, again, the Warriors are the Warriors, and Portland, you have to respect the way that they came out and played, especially in that first quarter. I mean, man, they put up 34 points, the most points that the Warriors have given up in these playoffs. They had an 11-point lead in the fourth quarter. That's the real story. That here they're sitting on an 11-point lead, and then Golden State just went to work. Just an amazing performance by Klay Thompson with the 27 points. And what can you say? They're doing all this without Steph Curry, who will be back for Game 3.
I like Portland a lot, but they're no match for Golden State. They're really not. I mean, Damian Lillard was incredible for 3 quarters. I mean, especially in the second quarter, he lifted them right up. He was playing really, really well. I like McCollum as well, but that's all they have. I mean, as good as they've been, they probably don't get past the Clippers if it wasn't for Blake Griffin and Chris Paul getting injured. This might be a 4-game series. Maybe 5. I can see Portland maybe winning 1 back in Portland, but this is probably a 4 or 5-game series.
But I just love the way the Warriors close. You know, they just know how to do it, right? And I left the game. I said, you know what? The Warriors are going to lose. Well, I'll never do that again. I'll never leave the television set when that team is ready to close.
If there's one team that can turn around a 10, 11, 12-point deficit in less than a minute, it's Golden State.
That was amazing.
Go take a look at the situation what they were in, right? When Klay Thompson hits that three-pointer with 5 minutes and 33 seconds to go in the fourth quarter, that was their first lead of the game. In other words, they trailed for the entire game, came back, down 11 in the fourth quarter, tie it, and then take their first lead with 5 minutes to go, and then take it out. I mean, the best that Portland had still was not good enough.
Number 4.
Free throw good. So the Raptors will take it out of bounds. Corey Joseph will get it to Lowry. He gets the center, heaves it up. Good! Kyle Lowry good from center court. He has tied the ball game. We're going to go to overtime.
Okay, this is a really weird thing that happened. It was just over a minute to play in the fourth. The Raps are on a 12-4 run. They cut the lead to 2. 3.3 seconds. You just heard Kyle Lowry launch it from Yonge Street. It's good. What a moment. It's overtime. And at the same time, Dave, I don't know if you caught this, Toronto Blue Jays were playing, and in the 10th inning, Justin Smoke hit a home run and won the game right at the same time, like 30 seconds apart. So that whole area
Smoke hits another one deep to left field. Has he done it again? That ball is up. Yes, sir, he has. Justin Smoke saves his first 2 home runs of the year for the 9th and 10th innings here at the Rogers Center.
So I guess Toronto collectively was having an orgasm somehow.
And then all of a sudden the party was suddenly over. Boy, I'll tell you. And then they just disappeared. Unbelievable that you would get that kind of a momentum hit when Lowry, from center court, all net, all right? And all of a sudden now you've got life again, and then you absolutely disappear in overtime. The Raptors went scoreless for 3 minutes and 46 seconds in OT and then just give it away.
They were horrible.
There is something that is seriously missing from this team. The Raptors, as we continually see, when they've got an opportunity to show character, they just seem to disappear. And here you've got an opportunity where you're in Miami. You've got an opportunity here because you have been given a gift from the basketball gods to go and steal a game you've got no business winning. And then you just disappear again?
They weren't in Miami. They were in Toronto.
Toronto.
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
But whatever the case is, you're in a situation where you can go and steal this thing and give it away?
Well, Kyle Lowry was 1 for 7, 2 points through 3 quarters. He stayed 90 minutes after the game. He's trying to get his mojo back. I know he's got a sore elbow, but I'm tired of hearing the sore elbow. Like, come on, dude. You cannot win without him putting points on the board.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Jake. I mean, he was great hitting that shot, but if he's not going to be a difference maker, the Toronto Raptors have no chance. This is, once again, the best player in this series doesn't play for the Raptors. Dwayne Wade may be old, but look at the way he closed that game down, man. Made huge plays both defensively, hustling around the court, setting up plays, making big baskets. DeRozan can learn something from him, and Goran Dragic right now is the way better player than Kyle Lowry. And if Lowry, if he's not hurt, he's got to be better. And if he's hurt, well, how about Dwayne Casey changing it up a little bit? How about he's got to use Corey Joseph a bit more? How about change the game plan because it's not working?
Well, Dragic, again, you're talking about the performance that he had. 26 big points. Therein lies, again, the difference. The big players for Miami showed up when it mattered most, and they did not for Toronto. Again, as you pointed out, Seth, I agree with you. There is something that's missing with this team in terms of character. When they've had an opportunity to step up and take it to the next level, man, they are finding new and amazing ways to disappoint.
Number 3.
Great point, Hedman. Left point to Druin. Jonathan Druin holding. Druin walking left circle. Druin looking things over. Swings it in front. Kucherov! Kucherov! 4-4 with 38.4 seconds left. More magic from Jonathan Druin.
Oh, Jonathan Drouin, man, streaking Jonathan Drouin. Biggest hit of the playoffs. I mean, did he get smoked? He came back, and he set Kucherov up, and overtime, baby. Boy, what a game. That was the best game last night. I just loved it. Drouin, hey, by the way, sub-poll question. Should the Canucks go after Drouin after we're watching him? What do you think?
Absolutely they should. Are they going to be able to pull it off? Not a chance. I love the opportunity to go after Drouin, and maybe, you know what, the opportunity that was there a couple of months ago, that door I think is closed. This kid has really shown that he can play. The way that he took that hit, came back, I mean, he sat and did the concussion protocol, did all the things that you have to do. I mean, and Thomas Hickey just laid him out. I mean, he really did. But keep in mind, Drouin's got a year left in his contract. He's an RFA in a year from now. The cap hit of 1.5. How attractive is he going to be? I cannot believe that Tampa Bay is not going to write this thing. I understand that there's some bad blood between, his agent, himself, and Yzerman and all of that. But this kid is showing, why he went number 3 overall, why this guy was touted as a franchise player. Man, oh man, last night was just an absolute amazing performance, not only in terms of what he did on the ice, but the guts that he showed to come back from that hit. This is what you build championship teams on.
Number 2.
Side Fisher, poke check, gets it back. His shot stopped short side. Fisher comes out on the right wing side. Gives it now to Wilson. Wilson comes out, and the shot, and the rebound! Colin Wilson makes it 3-1 at 6:55.
Well, does it get any better? Are we having the best hockey ever? San Jose and Nashville? What did you think?
I'm glad to see Nashville win. I'd love to see the Predators get through this. I don't think that they will. They beat the best road team in hockey in San Jose last night. The Sharks still lead the series 2-1. But how good was Shea Weber? The goal that he scored, that shot that he fired.
What a cannon.
A goal and an assist, 2 points there. Pekka Rinne again was real solid with the 26 saves. But you know what? Again, it got down to special teams. And this is the one thing where Nashville has got to be better, and they certainly were better last night. They went 2 for 5 in the power play, and they shut down the Sharks. They went 0 for 4. Keep in mind that the Sharks lost on the road for the first time in these playoffs. And the first time that the Sharks have lost on the road since March the 17th in Arizona in the regular season. So Nashville, it was a great home win, but they showed a lot of character, and you got to believe that if they tie up this series and go back to San Jose 2-2, then this thing could go 7. Man, I'll tell you right now, Game 4 is going to be a monster.
I'm giving all the credit to Marcus Mariota, who came out just before the game on the ice from the Titans, giving the crowd the whole thing. Marcus Mariota! You think that was the reason? Nah, I don't think so. Anyway, let's move on.
And today's number 1 story.
The Blues have cleared out. Berglund's going to dump it in. 2 seconds to go, and that'll do it. Bring up the Zamboni in Game 3. Blues pound the Stars by a score of 6-1, and they will take a 2-1 series lead into Game 4 on Thursday night.
Well, there's your dark horse team, the St. Louis Blues. What a pummeling. 6-1?
Wow.
Holy.
You know what? The Blues, even the score does not really even begin to tell the story here. They were getting performances from everybody. David Backes had the 2 goals. Steen had 2 goals. How good is Tarasenko? We were talking about this before the playoffs began, that this kid has really arrived as a superstar. He had 3 points, a goal, and 2 assists. But I love what Backes said after the game. He said, look, it was our most complete effort in the postseason. And now you can actually start to think, you know what? These St. Louis Blues could go to the Stanley Cup final. They really could. And they could contend for a cup. They haven't been to a Stanley Cup final since 1970. That's 46 years that this organization has been waiting. It's not as long as the suffering and the pain of the Toronto Maple Leafs, but of course we don't really feel for that. But look, the St. Louis Blues could not only get to a cup final, damn it, they could win it.
No kidding.
They could win it.
6:17, we're joined by Mark Crawford. Hello, Crow.
How are you guys?
Fantastic. Just a lot of great playoff hockey. Man, are we having a ball? Are we being entertained or what?
Yeah, it was outstanding last night. I thoroughly enjoyed watching the Islanders game. I thought it was great. especially the start of the St. Louis Dallas game. Like, he's just going to be another real close game. And it ended up being a blowout. And Nashville. Hey, how about them?
Yeah.
Hey, who picked him at the start of the season? Let me think. Who picked him at the start of the season? That would be you.
Really?
Yes.
God.
Yes.
And you know who I picked in the start of the playoffs? I think it was San Jose. So anyhow,
well, you got a couple of big horses in the run right now. But let's talk about the Blues. Let's talk about the Blues and the Stars. I mean, does Dallas have the goaltending to be able to win this series, Crow?
That is the big question, and it will continue to surface, and Elliott's going to have to continue to answer. I believe it's very much like Detroit when Detroit had Chris Osgood. He'd always have to answer, can he play, can he win? One year they didn't go with him. That was their first Cup victory with Mike Vernon. Next year they did go with him, and they did win with him. So he won a couple of Cups. He always answered the challenge. I think they're very comparable goaltenders in terms of status and maybe not so much ability. It is character that gets you through, and great team play. Obviously, the Detroit Red Wings in all those years had great team play, and I think Chris Osgood was the beneficiary of that. But Chris Osgood had great character, and he was a battler. And I think that's what Elliott is showing now. He's showing a lot more battle in his game. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it, but that to me is a step in the right direction. You got a great team in front of you. Just don't screw it up. Play the game, make the saves that you're supposed to, and every once in a while make a couple that you're not supposed to.
Well, Mark, let me just throw it at you. Is St. Louis good enough to get back to a Cup final for the first time in 46 years?
Yeah, I think they got to pull out their inner Red Berenson, inner Bob Plager, get those guys back. Get a little Barkley Plager in there.
Sure.
Get the Plager brothers out there. That was. I remember those early years when the Blue Notes were in the thing. They didn't have much of a chance against those teams, though. You're looking at who they were playing against. God, I think they started Canadians, and then they got the Boston Bruins and Bobby Orr. Not much of a bargain for them early in their career at the Stanley Cup Finals, but if they are able to win against Dallas, man, oh man, hey, confidence builds. They've got a coach that's been there before, and all those things point. But getting back to our first discussion, I think everything starts and ends with the discussion about the goalie. Can he do it? Will he be able to continue to improve? Will he be able to continue to show the toughness that you need to win in the NHL?
Mark, Jonathan Drouin showed a ton of heart and skill last night. He took that bone-crushing hit from Thomas Hickey, and then he returns and sets up the game-tying goal, seconds left in the game. He's impressive. A two-part question, or let's just talk. Should the Canucks go after Drouin, would you say?
Well, here's what I would say. Playoffs usually end up making a player or breaking a player. Certainly in the case of Jonathan Drouin, that is the ticket, The knock on Jonathan Drouin, everybody knows he's got skill. Everybody knows he's a pretty talented player. But the knock on him was, would he go into tough areas? Yeah. And when he got nailed by Thomas Hickey last night, you can see the change in his game. He attempted to go into a tough area. Not a very good attempt, mind you, because he got hammered. So, the question for me will be, will he continue to do those things? I've been very impressed with Jonathan Drouin in these playoffs. He is playing at the right level right now, and he looks like he's going to be a player. Tampa's not going to give up on him. Sometimes, again, you make your name in the playoffs, and Steve Yzerman is one of the smarter, harder-working guys in the league. They've got very good people in their management team, and if they know that this asset is going to help them to continue to get better, then they'll keep him, just like they've kept Johnson, just like they've kept Killorn, just like they've kept Kucherov. He could be a very big part of the Tampa Bay Lightning moving forward. Vancouver, sure. Vancouver's going to always go after talented people, and they're going to go after people that they think can make them better. It's I think, the bigger question of what Tampa Bay is thinking about Drouin. But boy, oh boy, it really was that play he made with the extra attacker. He had his head up. He certainly saw everything. He made a great pass. But I think on the other side of it, wow, come on, Islanders, your coverage has got to be a little bit better than that. I thought the Islanders showed a lot of moxie. I really like that Corey Cizikas line with Clutterbuck and Matt Martin. They're a menacing line right now. But Islanders, their coverage, boy, oh boy, wasn't very good last night. And they let their goalie out to dry, and they should have been able to close that game out. That game's going to hurt them.
Mark, here's to me the bigger question. If indeed they believe that Jonathan Drouin has arrived as a legitimate star player, a guy who's willing to pay the price, which is exactly what we're talking about, does this change the way they look at Stamkos in terms of whether or not they sign him as an unrestricted free agent?
Well, I don't think anything changes the way you look at Steve Stamkos. I think it's just, and this is a question better put for NHL general managers. Right. I think the question with Stamkos is all about, can we afford him? Is he the guy that we want? Does he fit in not only our monetary basis there? Can they afford him the way that they're going forward? So that's the bigger question. I don't think there's any doubt that Steven Stamkos would the Tampa Bay Lightning would love to be able to keep them. It's whether or not they're going to be able to afford them.
Yeah. Mark, the Penguins are going to be without Letang tonight against the Capitals in Game 4, and he was suspended for one game. I mean, he is such a force. Fun to watch. What a player. How much of the Pens going to miss Letang?
Well, he's Canada Cup good. He's World Cup good, I guess, is the better analogy. So you look at the way he's playing right now. He's going to play for Team Canada at the Canada Cup. He's one of the best defensemen in the league right now. He's probably the best defenseman in the playoffs right now. So, they'll miss him greatly. But you know what? Don't count the Penguins out. The Penguins are on a roll. They're playing a real strong team game. Sid the Kid and Malgin are leading. They're playing real strong. They've got contributions from people way down in their lineup, and that's what you need. If I'm going into this game with Washington, I'm telling them exactly this. I'm saying, hey guys, I don't care who they've got. You got to make sure you're ready to battle hard, and this team's going to play hard. We're going to have to be at our best to beat them. Don't look at who's not in the lineup. Let's just make sure that everybody on our team that's in the lineup plays a great game.
I got one final thing for you, and that has to do with the Calder Trophy. We've been arguing about this, literally for months, all right? The finalists, as you know, yesterday were released, and no surprise here. It's Connor McDavid, it's Panarin, and it's Gostisbehere. Okay, now, my money is on Connor McDavid. I've been saying this. I'd love to hear what you've got to say. If you're going to give out the award for the Rookie of the Year, who does it go to?
Well, I think popular choice is going to go to Connor McDavid, because I think a lot of people who will be voting will be saying, hey, he had such an impact and made such a difference to the Oilers when he was in the lineup. And I think the body of work that he had is good enough to say he was the best rookie. And I don't think there's a lot of guys that are going to look at it and say, okay, the young defenseman from Philadelphia, and I'd like to say his name, but I screw up names so bad that I don't even want to try. Gostisbehere. That's
that
good.
guy.
The Ghost. The Ghost.
That sounds like a very German name, because they've got long names there. Like, you say, hey, how do I say go? And they say, Gott mit dem What? So that's Gostisbehere.
Yeah.
And the other guy, Panarin, I think a lot of people look at him and they say, yeah, he's a good scorer. He finishes off plays, but he played in a pretty good group this year. And when you've got Patrick Kane feeding you the way that Patrick Kane fed him most of the year, maybe that takes a few votes against him. I think Connor McDavid will win it.
Thank you. I'm validated.
All right, 627.
Well, validated, I'm not sure. Hey, Crow, the Crow is sitting here in Cornwall, Ontario. He's sitting here like looking at a video screen watching hockey games. He's got no job. I'm not validation. I'm Crow.
I'm just looking at that Stanley Cup ring, and it works for me.
Hey, listen.
Good enough.
Hey, you had one job when you were globetrotting around the country, everywhere from Italy to Amsterdam, to look at the wine selection and go, you know what? I think the bro would love this. I'm taking this back for him. Huh?
Bro, I've got a sensational one for you, and oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. We're not giving Dave any.
All right, that's a wise choice.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much.
There you go.
See you guys.
All right. There's Mark Crawford. It's always brought to you by Metro Ford. At Metro Ford, there is no bad choice when it comes to leasing or owning a Ford. When you've got options that work for you, it's easy to get into a Ford. See metromotors.com for all the details. Now, we did not bring the coaching situation in because we didn't want to compromise Mark Crawford on this, but it is our poll question. And boy, I tell you, Travis Green yesterday really lit it up when he was talking about the fact that he now believes, and he is now saying this, that he's ready to be an NHL head coach. And you know what? You take a look at his body of work, and how do you argue with that? Travis Green is going to be a head coach somewhere in the NHL. That's an understood given thing. So our poll question is, who's the best coach not in the NHL? Is it Travis Green or is it Mark Crawford, who we threw in there, who's leading this with 38% of the vote? Is it Bruce Boudreau in Anaheim, or is it Randy Carlyle? Right now, and I'm thrilled to say this, Mark Crawford is leading, as I said before, with 38% of the vote. But look, Travis Green's got a very respectable 22% of the vote. Great poll question.
629. One of my insiders yesterday told me Travis Green would in fact be coaching Calgary. So I'm just throwing it out. I'm just throwing it out there. Okay. Well, we'll see what happens.
Well,
all right.
Berkey's history is to go with guys that he knows and trusts, and guys that usually have a lot of history and a lot of background in it. No, if I was going to put money on who's going to go into Calgary right now, I'd probably go with Randy Carlyle.
Ken Crow has a a very good chance because he's got some heritage and some friendship going on with
they work
Brian
together.
Burke.
They worked together for 6-7 years here in Vancouver. They got some history, but keep in mind that they didn't win anything together. All right. Whereas with Randy Carlyle, they won a Stanley Cup in Anaheim together, and he hired him twice. Once in Anaheim, where they won a cup, and then hired him again in Toronto. My money's on Carlyle.
And what a great job he did in Toronto too. Wow. 6:30. Not broadcasting.
Don't think it was Carlyle's problem.
Well, he's still really. Come on.
I don't think he was the problem in Toronto.
We're broadcasting to you live from the Hastings Racecourse studio. And welcome, Hastings Racecourse. You have a lot of heritage over there.
Boy.
You were just there a couple weeks ago.
And we're going to be there on Saturday. We've got a big race. It's going to be huge.
All right. We're going to take a little break, get some entertainment on, and coming back, The Bro Show. He, me, and